episode of Dear Man. Why am I even saying this? Prissy, give us the intro. Yeah, Prissy, let's go.
But you took over your job.
No, we are live. Let's
Yeah.
go. Uh-huh.
Yeah, so we are continuing.
We'll continue. Okay, so it's good to come your way yet again, yet another Saturday. We're grateful to God for life, and let's do this. As usual, I mean, we always gonna do it. So let's go ahead, share the feed, and let's get the best, maximum best interaction. Is that it? Maximum best. Yeah. So just go out there, share the feed, and let's get going. Did you do it? All right, Lucy,
Yes, to find the few.
please, please find it, and let's go. Okay. So shoot it out there, and let's go. We are live. Okay. I mean, that's all we request from you. Just a share, and that should be fine. Okay. It's always good to come your way. As usual, always nice to come out here, interact with you, and get to learn one or two things. Okay, so um today's topic. Let me read out today's topic. So it's easier now because we have um, the topics we discuss it. So how to know if your relationship is worth saving? How to know if your relationship is worth saving? I think this is pretty straightforward, but it only becomes straightforward if you are willing to accept or take a cue from whatever we're going to say, right? How to know if a relationship is worth saving. So, um, you see, just before we go, if you join, I mean, the moment you join in, please shoot a hello, shoot a hi, so we know you are in. And then, just as we do it, we bring you, I mean, into the discussion with all your comments, blah blah blah, and your contribution. So always let us know when you join us. Shoot a hello, shoot a hi, and we should be good. Okay. Now the truth is, not every relationship is worth saving. That's the truth. I know that sometimes when, especially when people get into toxic relationship, they get used to the toxicity so much that they feel they are losing something when, I mean, time they get the opportunity to move away from that toxic relationship. But again, if you are ready to listen to whatever we're saying, take a cue from it. Not every relationship is worth saving. Some of them are a waste of your time, a waste of your energy, and ultimately a waste of your life. You would end up just burning away time, and then you look back later and go like, what was going through my head? And that's why we always take our time out of, I mean, all that we do to just come share a word or two. So I hope we all have a listening ear to this. Not every relationship is worth saving. Some relationships that you might end up in are mistakes, right? Maybe something led you into the relationship, which is not um, love, or it's not what you thought you were seeing. It could just be like some casual infatuation here and there, right? And so, how do you know which relationship to save and which one to just let go? Prissy, I'll throw this to you.
Should I?
Oh, you don't want to start? I can start. I mean, if you want me to start. Okay, so first of all, right, you need to take a good look at your life and ask yourself, without this relationship, am I better or not? Or am I worse off? Check the value the relationship brings to your life. If it doesn't bring any value, your guess is as good as mine. right? Because think about it. If you trying to do your best in life, progress in life, and for some reason you end up in a certain relationship which is not adding to you, what is the point? In fact, generally, even not just for um let me call it relationships that are supposed to lead to marriage, even just basic platonic friendship,
Mhm.
if you look at it and it's not adding any value to your life, then I mean it's not worth pursuing. There are some relationships you realize that it takes more from you and drains you. That is not a good one to be in. It should always be a two-way affair. And so if it looks like the other person you are in the relationship with is also pushing to give their
Contribute
best, yeah,
something.
contribute, give some sort of value to it, that is definitely one to consider keeping. And so, again, if you are faced with that decision whether to save a relationship or let go, one of the key things you can look at is what value is being added to
Yeah.
this relationship. Yeah. Do you have any point
Yeah,
yet?
so
Or yeah, okay.
like Bible says two heads are better than one.
Okay.
So I expect that if two people come together,
Mm-hmm.
they should be able to do better.
Right.
So like you said,
Yeah.
if it is draining you,
Mm-hmm.
you realize that sometimes you even join a study group and it's like you are better off studying on your own than
Absolutely. Yeah.
joining the study group.
Right.
And so it's just like that. Those of you who have been to study groups before. So if you realize that it's not working, like you see all the signs there,
Yeah.
that you are better off being alone than trying to pull somebody along.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're like, oh, I can pull this person along and all that, but the person ends up pulling you behind,
Yeah.
right? And so personally, if something is not working for me, it's just about being able to think fast and then like and very quick. Like, is this working? Can I let me take a quick decision on what to do?
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes people think that, oh, things will change. Let me give it time, right? Things will get better. Yeah, there are some things that can get better. But then with most things, you realize that no, this thing is draining me. If you are in a relationship and like both of you are working, um, you are supposed to be able to like save more, right? But then if you feel that you being alone, you are able to save more than maybe the two of you working and coming to you spend more, then it doesn't make sense. Right. So yeah, I believe that you should be able to do more when you are two than when you are alone. It's not only about material things, but at least maybe things about your emotions and all that. Yeah, so it's not always that you should be expecting the other person to fill in gaps for you. What are you also adding to the relationship? And it's also like friendship. If you are in a friendship that is one-sided, you always have to be the one checking on your friend, and if that friend is not, then I think that it's not worth the friend, because when you are, it means that when there's something wrong with you, you have nobody to call a friend. Yes, so just like any other relation, it shouldn't always be um, like one person collecting and not giving.
Yeah.
Yes, it should be both ways.
Yeah.
We are both giving and we are both receiving. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. And usually, I mean, it's assumed that before someone would even get into a relationship, you have a focus in life, you have a goal in life, there is something you're looking forward to, right? So usually it would be good to also have someone who can whip you in line to help you achieve your goals, right? Because human as we are, it's so easy to get derailed from I mean, whatever course you decide to chart. And so if you can have someone who would always make sure that you're trying your best, you are the best version of yourself, then that's a good relationship not to check out from. And so if you are faced with that decision and you look at it and you weigh everything and it looks like, oh, this person really helps me stay in check, helps me stay on course, then you might want to consider still being in that relationship. Now, another thing to look at is this relationship causing me harm? So you could have someone who is actually putting you on the right course, blah, 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 but in another breath, that person is causing you harm, right? So you would also need to check if there is anything from the relationship causing you harm. It could be physical, it could be emotional, it could be anything, right? If you think this wouldn't help your well-being in terms of I mean whichever facet, physical, emotional, blah blah blah, then it might be something to consider checking out from, because um, you can have, let's say that you married to um, a super rich person or wealthy person, right? And you get your financial needs addressed, but that person is also someone who physically abuses you. Let's just take physical abuse. You might be and getting all the money, but I don't know who would be happy with that. Okay, people might be happy with that, but it's just not healthy. The person in it might not see it like that, but generally, it's not a healthy relationship to be in. And so you will need to also check if there is any sort of harm you're doing to yourself. It could be bodily harm, it could be emotional harm, it could be anything. It could be anything. There are recently a friend of mine was telling me a story of a, one trip that she took with the brother, and they met someone in a certain country, and the person was with the wife, okay, and they ended up going to eat with the person, and the kind of propositions the person was giving them, it goes like, whoa, this is something else. So you could end up in a relationship with someone who everyone sees is okay, like from what all humans who can see from the outside. Oh, this should be a very good person. Hey, Nanama Abedi, thanks for joining us. And you go like, oh, this person should be very good. Oh, why do you want to leave this relationship? You might not know what goes on behind the veil, right? And so I don't want to go deep into that, but all I'm saying is that if there is something that is causing you harm, you will need to get out of it. So I think that before I hand over to Prissy, you will need to really step back and ask yourself, if I were not to be the one in this relationship, is this something I would accept? You get it? Because sometimes when you are in it, then you get blinded and you say love is blind, maybe love needs spectacles, and so on and so forth. So you would really need to take a step back, figure out, is this something I would really want to be with, like assuming I was in the relationship. Yeah, Prissy, I throw it back to you.
So sometimes we also try to count the number of years we've spent in the relationship.
Yeah,
Or like you said, some people will stand behind them, like people will kill for your relationship and all
correct.
that. But I think that what matters is how do you feel when you are alone with the person. It's
Absolutely.
not about when you are surrounded by your friends, because
Yeah,
sometimes you can even relocate and move somewhere else and you just be left with just
yeah,
the two of you.
yeah,
Sometimes it's maybe your parents urging you on, I think this person is a nice, or it might not even be a parent, it could even be a pastor.
yeah.
Like you want to leave the relationship and then the man of God, the guy goes to pull a man of God to come and beg for him. I think those are some of the things that have made people stay in bad relationships.
Right.
if you are making a decision, make the decision for yourself. Don't make any external person be the reason why you are staying in a relationship, because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you'll be the only one at the receiving end. They
Yeah.
would be in their home sleeping or whatever, having whatever peace they want.
And they might be snoring in a
Some of them it's also because of what they benefit. Maybe if it's your parents or something, maybe your like supposed partner sends them a lot of money and all that. So for them, they are seeing it as a gold mine.
Yeah.
But then you are the receiving end.
Yeah.
And so you should think about it. If anything happens to you, it's about your joy, it's about your life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but for them, they are seeing it as, oh, the man is good. This man
Mm-hmm.
is a nice person. He's good looking. Is like somebody that's, and I think some people also are in relationships because they feel that the person is good looking and would fit in with their friends and all that. If you give them the opportunity to choose, they will choose somebody else who doesn't fit the standard of their friends. But because they want to fit in, they would rather stick to the one that they feel is acceptable to their friends. But at the end of the day, you be alone.
Yeah.
That is one thing I realized when I got married. That after all the parties and everything, you are stuck alone
Yeah.
with the person. So you be the only person receiving whatever comes out of that relationship.
Exactly.
Yes, so you should, yeah, I for that one, you should be selfish.
Mm-hmm.
If you are in a relationship, don't do it for anybody outside the relationship.
Yeah.
Do it for yourself.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's a very good point. And uh, this is what I think. When it comes to the point where you need to go show your um, fiance or lady or guy to your parents and your family or whoever, that is a very good litmus test to see if the relationship will do well or not. And this is what I mean. If you can really get to the point where you feel like this person, I really think that, assuming everyone else is taken from the world, or you guys, the two of you, are put on an island, you guys will happily survive, then you've actually passed that litmus test. Because the moment external influences come in and that pushes or draws you back, it means that there is no real conviction from your end, right? So think about it. I when I was growing up, I knew of someone who wanted to marry someone else, and everyone didn't want to agree. And as I speak to you, they've been married for God knows how long, and they are really doing well. What it means is that, see, your parents mean the best for you. They mean well, except some few outliers who don't mean well for their kids. But most parents mean well for their kids. So the reason they are telling you what they are telling you is because of what they are seeing from their perspective. Most times, because of experience, they are right. But in some other times, they are not actually right because they are misreading something, or they are filtering through a certain existing bias, or you can call it a pre existing bias, right? And so the person who should be the most comfortable with the other person is you. If you can actually pass that litmus test and would want to live the rest of your life with the person, even if you guys are isolated on an island, and you feel that this person really has my best interest at heart, then that is someone you should consider being with. Sometimes, if it feels like you guys are only in love when your friends are around and you need to keep up appearances, then that is a big issue, right? It means that if you take out that friend factor from the equation, the two of you are really not ready to live together, right? So it will be very, very, very important to ask yourself, is this someone I can live the rest of my life with, assuming we were put on an island somewhere? It might not be true because some other factors might come in, but at least if at that point you have a yes, a strong yes in mind, then chances are that is a good person you wanna stick with, right? Because think about it. You might be in a situation where you have someone who is not really is trying to make it through life, like has not really found his or her footing yet, and you send that person to your parents, and they go like, ah, but where does he work? You see, all that they are doing is that they are filtering it through the financial point of view. Finances are very good in relationships or in marriage, but to have a stable marriage that stands the test of time, it goes beyond finances, right? Otherwise, rich people will not be divorced, or rich wives will not be crying in first class. You say, oh, I would prefer to be in first class and be crying. Sometimes you don't really understand. You don't really understand, right? So it goes beyond all that. So they'll just filter it through that lens and say that, oh, but someone who is not working, it doesn't mean that all people who are not working are irresponsible. Sometimes life happens and someone is now trying to find their foothold, right? And so what you would need to do, or to try to or the point you need to come to is this person someone I can live with, I mean, regardless of whatever filters that other external stakeholders will bring in. If it looks good, then it will be worth going for it. Now, if you are in a relationship and it looks like it's always trouble, the person is making you cry, the next time you smile, they cry, and that is the kind of question you are asking, is this worth fighting for? You will end up fighting your whole life. I in especially when you guys have just met, I don't see how someone who is really really interested in you, has your whatever at heart, will be doing things to hurt you. Like today, you see the person with another girl and you are crying and you ask, should I fight for it? You end up fighting for your own life if you go ahead with it. I mean, so don't don't get into a position of you will need to really fight for. See, some good people will come your way and you don't need to fight anything. Like sometimes we have these strongholds in our minds that cause us to do a lot of things because we know that, oh, to get a good person you have to fight for it. You don't have to fight for anything. You can have a good person without fighting for anything. You don't have to get into a bout with other girls or other guys to no. So in effect, if that is the kind of fight you are asking about, then it's a bad fight. Even scripture says that fight the good fight of faith. Fight the good fight. There is good fight, there is bad fight. And so I would think that you really look at someone you think, okay, I can really be with this person, assuming we are in an isolated situation, and it will work. Prissy, let me give you.
I also think that if you are in a relationship with someone who is only happy with you when things are going well with you, and it's not, you realize that when there's a misfortune, the person um finds a way to cut or break away from you, then the person too is not right, because there are good times, there are bad times. That's why when you are saying your vows, they are like for better, for worse.
Yeah.
Right. So if you have somebody who is so in love with you when things are going on, or you've won a lottery and all that, and maybe things goes down and then the person is shunning you,
Yeah.
it means that the relationship is not right for you. If things don't go well, it means that things will break down,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So I know people like that. Like they are full of praises when things are like going well,
No.
and then all of a sudden when something doesn't work out well, then they are like they tend to be 60
Yeah.
degrees. Yeah. So such relationships too won't work.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's also one sign.
So you end up in trouble and your supposed partner is trying to avoid you, blah blah blah, and things now work out, and you now come and ask, is this relationship worth fighting for? No.
But surprisingly, some people go back to you hear that somebody wasn't doing so well,
Yeah.
went to ask a lady out,
Yeah.
and the lady refused and found somebody who was willing to stay
Yeah.
with the person
Yeah.
when things were bad.
Yeah.
Then as soon as things he starts getting money, the lady he went to ask out initially is now like all over. Then leaves
Yeah.
the one who was with him
Yeah.
or her when things were bad,
Yeah.
then goes for that person. That relationship,
Yeah. That's also
it's 100%. When something happens again, it would crumple.
absolutely. And in that context, the man is very, let me choose my words carefully, is very unfair. That's the nicest word I found. Like to go back to someone who rejected
It
you
happens
because,
a lot
oh, it does, it does.
because they have people have their like their
The
perfect.
aspects, right?
Yeah, they
Yeah,
want a certain spec, but because they didn't have,
yeah. Now that
and
you
now they
have
feel they
money,
can
I
afford.
can
Like
afford that spec. Yeah,
they treat the partner like a commodity.
yeah. That's interesting. Anyway, so Warren says, "Good day, my people. Hey, how's it going?" Yeah, it's unfortunate, but then again, we are humans, right? And humans, otherwise we wouldn't have prisons and stuff. Humans act how you don't expect them to act anyway. So, in effect, not all relationships are worth fighting for. That's the reality. Some people might not be lucky. You would end up dating for 5 people before you find someone who is sensible enough to stay with or live with, right? There are some people who get it right the very first time, but don't get caught in something you clearly know is not going to help you. Warren says that it's all about the Benjamin. Yeah, exactly. If you go in for someone because the person has money, when the tears come and the money is still there, you can see the money, but you are crying. Remember that was what you went for. Exactly. So you better shut up.
Or when
Don't
the money
complain to.
goes away, flies away, how
No,
are you
but
going to?
yeah, exactly. It
Yeah, how
means
are you
that
going to? What are you going to look up to again?
absolutely, absolutely. So again, humans as they are, I mean, you would even have parents that will push their kids to someone in particular because the person has money.
Mhm.
It's interesting. I mean, how humans and it's more like, hey, I've been through life. I know what and bring up all sort of silly proverbs and everything. Yeah, but you should try to um if you have brains enough, you can reason and figure out, okay, which of these would be good for me. You have a good time of reflection. Jackson says that not all relationships are worth fighting for. Absolutely, yeah. I mean, some of them would just be a waste of your time, energy, and life, like we said earlier on.
Your
So
time is your life.
yeah,
Sometimes
exactly.
people
Yeah,
will engage people like 10 years,
yeah.
and they don't marry them. They meet someone else for 3 months and marry.
Pretty even
three
it,
months. The same person who has been with you for 10 years never married you, but met someone else 3 months and decided to marry that person. So it's like they've wasted your
yeah,
time, your
your
life
life, yeah, it's gone.
that you could have used. on something better.
Even surgeons don't sometimes school that long to be allowed to work on human beings. So, what exactly is a
The
person
person looking
looking
for,
out
yeah,
for before making a decision to go with you? I mean, so you should. That's why I said if you have brains enough to reason, you can really think through this. Sami says that they always say the money comes first. They don't care if they are unhappy. Yeah, you see, sometimes when people are saying things, it's because they've not really experienced the reality. You get what I mean? Like, think about it. If money were to be the main thing, and again, I'm not saying money is not good in relationships. Money is very good in the marriage context and everything. You live a better life, a
if
better
there's
quality
money,
of
yeah,
life if there
makes
is money.
things easier.
But think about this. If money makes marriages
Last long.
last long, think about the richest people you know who have divorced.
Mhm.
It doesn't, I mean, when you get there, you understand people. It's like when someone tells you that if you go to America or you go to Europe, it's not easy there. You will sit back and you go like, what are these people saying? But the moment you also get in, then you understand your uncle that you were insulting all over. So it's just like that. What I'm saying is that it is not all money. It is not all money. I have spoken to people who have really been very open to express how money gets useless in such situations. It is not all money. If you've not heard anything from us today, you should hear this. So if you go chasing money, um, when the other issues that you didn't address come up, please just be lying in your money and be crying. It's fine. We'll all understand you. Okay, so on that monetary note, we draw down the curtains on today's episode of Dear Van. Thank you so much for joining us. We always appreciate having you. Go out there, share the feed. That's how we can get more people engaging. I mean, it's um, what's to be expected, right? So always remember that no two relationships are the same. Thank you. Cheers and bye for now.